Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and earn unlimited rewards. The time by Sagicor Bank is
CVM News at 7 Headlines Thursday. Brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, classroom clash, JTA and Education Ministry at loggerheads over reporting of specific shelter concerns. Livid, St. James couple outraged at death of newborn at Cornwall Regional Hospital. Cautious optimism, Jamaicans excited after traces of potential commercial quantities of oil. Inquiry this, bullying, the unchecked monster. Later in the business report, the JSE launch of a secondary market for GOJ securities. While in sports, ready, set, go. Reggae girls optimistic ahead of World Cup qualifier on Friday.
CVM News at 7 Headlines Thursday. Brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
Should critical illness strike? Don't let worry fill your head. Say hello to happiness and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan. Secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time while benefiting from our investment portfolio and so much more. Give yourself and your family the peace of mind you deserve with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan today. And live secure. Live easy.
Jason has watched every World Cup from here, but not today, because he made all his purchases with Visa and won a trip to the FIFA World Cup 2026. Whoever uses their Visa the most wins. Pay with...
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Thursday, April 9, 2026. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. Up first this evening, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Mark Malava, is firing back at the government following controversial comments made about conditions at school-based shelters in Western Jamaica. Malava has pushed back against statements from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Local Government, which challenged him to provide evidence to support claims that shelterees have been engaging in sexual activity in full view of students. Speaking at the closing of the JTA Education Conference in Green Island, Hanover, Malava insists that the association strongly rejects any attempt to minimize or distract from the issue.
This matter is not about personalities, bruised egos, public relations, or political theatre. Neither is it, colleagues, about the fact that the Ministry of Education has been left embarrassed by recent revelations. It is about duty of care, credible risk, and the protection of children and educators within spaces designated for learning.
The JTA president maintains that the reports are not fabricated but credible, adding that documented evidence has already been submitted to the Ministry of Education. The JTA president is also calling for urgent action to remove shelteries from school compounds, arguing that the current situation poses serious risks to students' well-being.
These concerns were formally communicated to the relevant state authorities, including the Ministry of Education, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and the Ministry of Local Government. These were not speculative. They were grounded in credible reports, professional judgment, and the association's unambiguous responsibility to act where risk is identified. Let it also be stated without ambiguity. I, Mark Malava, have personally raised concerns with the Minister of Education during a telephone conversation. And this was around March 17 or 18. During that conversation, colleagues, I said to the Minister of Education that the reports that we are getting, if true, violates the Child Care and Protection Act. And the minister's response was, tell them to go and report it to the police. That was the minister's response.
In the meantime, the Education Ministry is insisting it has received no formal report to support claims made by Jamaica Teachers Association President Mark Malava regarding alleged inappropriate conduct by shelteries in schools. In a statement today, the ministry emphasized that while the JTA has raised general concerns about discomfort with shelters being housed in educational institutions, no specific allegations of sexual activity in the presence of students were ever formally reported. The ministry says it has already taken proactive steps to separate shelteries from regular school operations to ensure the safety of students.
Jamaica Teachers Association, in our meeting held in March 2026, noted general concerns around our students being in the same area as shelteries. We share that in the Ministry of Education. We share that concern, and we have done significant work to segregate the students from the shelteries. Mr. Malava has also previously indicated that he hears that there are things happening in the shelters, but at no time has been able to give any specific details on what he is hearing.
Following concerns raised by Malava, Parliamentary Secretary Marlon Morgan was directed to conduct a review of all schools being used as shelters. The ministry says during those visits, no such allegations were brought forward. Since the statements were made public, the ministry has launched its own investigation, contacting principals and shelter managers. However, it says no evidence has been found to substantiate those claims. The ministry also notes it has not received critical details, including the name of any school, dates, or individuals involved in the alleged incidents. Education Minister Dana Morris-Dixon reaffirms that the ministry's priority remains the safety and well-being of children, urging anyone with credible information to make an official report immediately. And amidst the tumult, the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development has announced that all remaining Hurricane Melissa shelteries currently housed in school shelters will be placed in viable accommodations by May 8. As of April 9, 8 schools are currently operating as shelters, housing 81 shelteries. It says the $10 billion Roofs Housing Assistance Program, payment of rent for several families, repairs of homes, and other interventions have significantly reduced the number of families living in shelters. The ministry says in the final phase of the relocation exercise, priority for relocation will be given to shelteries in Petersfield High School, which remains the largest remaining shelter with approximately half of all school-based shelteries at Petersfield. The transition of shelterees into more suitable living arrangements include the provision of government-procured modular housing units, the payment of rent in appropriate cases, and other tailored accommodation solutions based on the needs of individual families. In other news now, I have no more daughter. I need help. The desperate cry of a mother this evening whose teenage daughter perished in a house fire in St. John's Garden, Spanish Town on Wednesday. Her son, who also sustained burns in the blaze, is now battling for his life in hospital. Amoy Harriet has the details.
Moments after the tragedy, the dwelling scene here was home to Suzette Campbell and her children. Little did she know these four walls would become the scene of unimaginable loss. She recalls she was on her way home sometime around 5 o'clock Wednesday when she saw the fire.
I see a lot of smoke. I say, where is that smoke coming from? And them say, over next door. I say, no, I have to go look at which part this. And when time I reach, same time I see my son roll come through the fire. And roll come through the fire and then drop. And get up again, because she say, I'm not eat. And drop again. Drop outside and couldn't move. So I say, my daughter then start back with my daughter and the fire started high. And my daughter just burn up in there.
Her daughter, 14-year-old Gabriella Wright, was a student at the Jonathan Grant High School. She's the second child Suzette has lost in the space of 3 years.
Everything burned down. So I don't see nobody to help me. So I help my daughter. Everything burned down. Nothing left, my daughter burn up.
And she fears her 25-year-old son, Courtney Daly, might not make it either. He suffered burns to about 80% of his body and remains in hospital in serious condition. It's why the family is appealing to authorities for help to have him taken abroad for better medical care.
Right now, him not no life, you know. The hospital can't help him. Hospital can't help my son at all. No hospital can help him in Jamaica right now. So me a ball on for my Prime Minister, help me. And my daughter dead now, fire, my son about to dead now, because I'm not no life.
He's still talking, he's still alive, so what we can do, we are asking for help. We are asking for help from the Prime Minister. We are asking for help from the MP. We are asking for, we really need help because she have already lost her son before. So it's very difficult for her to even lose her next child.
In the meantime, the Burn Foundation of Jamaica says it's now assisting the family to gather the documentations needed in order to receive overseas medical care. Still, they need further help.
We have gotten the medical record, and so we are now at the passport office trying to get the passport because his passport was totally destroyed in the fire. We have received the information from a hospital overseas, so the acceptance. And so we're imploring this gentleman can live, but based on the extent of burn, it's going to take specialized treatment for him, for his life to be spared. And so I'm calling on Jamaicans to rally around this family.
Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
Stay with us. CVM News at 7 continues in just a moment.
We are going this a big old bag here. You run where?
You is what? Immigration officer? Mind your own business.
You have anything to declare in that bag?
Officer, you not got nothing better to go do.
Open up the bag.
Oh, me not open nothing.
If you don't comply with the law, I'm going to ask you to step out the vehicle. Where are you going so much bun?
Officer, it's Easter. Everybody have to get bun. My wife, my mother, my father, even my granny have to get bun.
So what? I can't get a bun.
Of course, because officer, even you have to get bun.
Squad, put this in a car.
Buy your mother's bakery Easter bun and share it with the whole family, because this Easter, everybody have to get bun.
First home? Need to replace what stopped working? Ready for an upgrade? Now is the time to shop at Courts. Get furniture pieces from $459 weekly, electronics from $599 weekly, and appliances from $649 weekly. So get what you need at Courts. And when they ask, say, I got it at Courts. Courts, bringing value home. Offers end April 30th, 2026.
Thanks so much for staying with us. There's cautious optimism this evening among Jamaicans following news of traces of potential billions of barrels of oil off Jamaica's coast. The survey by United Oil and Gas shows traces of oil and gas in the Walton Morant Basin. But as Carla Ramdeen reports, Jamaica's energy minister is urging caution.
Jamaica could be one step closer to oil, as United Oil and Gas says seabed samples in the Walton Morant Basin show signs of an active petroleum system. Preliminary analysis detected traces of thermogenic hydrocarbons, including butanes and pentanes, suggesting potential for billions of barrels in prospective resources. The Ministry of Energy, Transport and Telecommunications says the company has exclusive rights to explore the area. While noting the news is promising, Portfolio Minister Darrell Vaz is urging caution.
We will not know definitively until such time as we drill a well, which will require the company, United Oil and Gas, to raise between 60 and 70 million US dollars through partnerships with big oil companies to drill a well. The results of that will be the most telling and conclusive.
Despite Energy Minister Darrell Vaz urging caution, Jamaicans are still excited about the possibilities ahead.
It's going to bring a boost to Jamaica. It's going to be our turning point on a very large scale. It's going to bring multiple jobs, but it must be orchestrated properly, not politically.
Pretty excited, to be honest. That's a good news for Jamaica, our country. Yes, it will help the economic system. It will help a lot of persons, especially that needs the help. So I'm really excited.
We also spoke with Trinidadian Peter Andrews, who told us how the discovery of oil changed his country's economic fortune.
For Trinidad point of view, when Trinidad did it, it helped the economy. The money was flowing. It's not like Guyana right now. Guyana, whereby all they give so much of money to the poor people in Guyana because of the influx in oil, which is a good thing. It's supposed to be. Hopefully, I hope Jamaica learn from it.
But others say the discovery will not make a difference.
Whether them drop the price or them raise the price, it don't make a difference because it's still over there, and as quick as they brought the money, it don't same time. So, it's a case where the value of the things them can drop, but the things them still expensive. It's still expensive.
Meanwhile, economist Keenan Faulkner says the exploration phase, potential drilling and extraction may take up to 10 years.
It was around the same in Guyana, but when everything was eventually actualized, we saw what the growth prospects were. Now, we have pointed to about 7 billion potentially, but that is the maximum that is there and that is present. But that doesn't mean that we will now get to all of it or be able to access it. It also doesn't mean that the venture is now going to be commercially viable.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
The Supreme Court has ordered that a decision made by the Fair Trading Commission, FTC, in relation to a complaint made by ARC Manufacturing against Tankweld Metals shall not remain in force or be acted on by the FTC until there has been a hearing of the matter in the Supreme Court or unless the court makes another order in the matter. ARC Manufacturing is alleging that Tankweld is abusing its dominant position in the market to sell rebar below cost and prevent competition and to drive rivals out of the market. Rebar is steel used to strengthen concrete structures. ARC is also alleging that Tankweld has an unfair competitive advantage because it has an exclusive license to operate a wharf. Tankweld has denied the allegations. The FTC found in its March 2026 report that Tankweld's operation of a wharf does not adversely affect competition. However, the FTC found that Tankweld is dominant in the rebar market and is likely abusing its dominant position by harming rivals and customers. The FTC stated that it would discuss with Tankweld reasonable steps to overcome the abuse. But the court order now will bar such discussions from taking place. ARC has also filed a lawsuit against Tankweld Metals Limited in court. Tankweld, in its defense, has again denied the allegations. As we continue with the issue of bullying that has long been a persistent issue in schools, many parents may not have realized that there could be legal consequences. So this week on Query This, Akeem Art explains the legal remedies available if your child is being bullied.
Bullying in schools continues to be a major concern. In a space where children should feel safe, learn, and socialize, some are instead being targeted. Bullying is defined as unwanted, repeated, and aggressive behavior involving a real or perceived power imbalance. According to attorney at law Matthew Hyatt, bullying can quickly escalate from a disciplinary issue into a criminal offense when it moves from verbal taunts into physical confrontation, which may amount to assault or battery.
Well, the bullying normally starts with the verbal taunts and threats. For example, you're in school and they're teasing you about your head or otherwise, but it then crosses that line into physical now, where it is that it takes on a form of physical violence and harm. Then in those circumstances it can be harmful.
Schools also have a legal responsibility, a duty of care to protect students. That duty extends from teachers to principals and the wider school system. Attorney Hyatt says a failure to act could result in legal action being taken against the institution.
In a circumstances, for example, where you have two students who have started a fight, the teacher cannot simply sit back and watch the fight going on and not intervene. And so in those circumstances, the very school itself can be brought before the court.
But before pursuing legal action, you are being urged to first make formal complaints. Documentation and reporting through the proper channels can strengthen your case.
Ideally, what should occur in schools, firstly, is that we have a form of dispute resolution where the students and the parents can sit down together and discuss the root of the bullying in the first place and to see if it is that it can be resolved at that stage.
While Jamaica does not currently have specific anti-bullying legislation, the attorney believes the law needs to be reviewed to better address the issue.
This is something that I think the parliamentarians ought to address and address immediately, along with the Ministry of Education, in terms of developing strong policies to combat bullying in schools.
The attorney's advice to you is simple. Take every incident seriously and ensure it is properly reported and addressed.
Put those complaints in writing, firstly to the school, to the Dean of Discipline, to the principal. Ensure that there is an opportunity to discuss the very complaint with the principal. And if it is that the school is
ignoring those complaints or they're not acting accordingly, then advance the complaint to the Ministry of Education, make a complaint to the CDA or to the child CPFSA.
If your child is being bullied, do not ignore it. Report it immediately. You may contact the Child Protection and Family Services Agency at 888-776-8328, the Office of the Children's Advocate at 888-723-3776, or your nearest police station. That's all the time we have for Query This tonight. If you have a legal dilemma or concern you'd like us to explore, send an email to aorit@cvmtv.com. I am Akeem Orit. See you next week on Query This.
In other news now, there is grief and anger tonight at Cornwall Regional Hospital. 33-year-old Shandale Ballantyne and her partner Ramon Ranger say they are not satisfied with doctors' explanation for the death of their newborn on Friday. The couple is calling it negligence, pointing to delays in urgent care and a lack of critical equipment at the facility. Natasha Williams has the details.
Open your eye, Rakai. Rakai, open your eye again, Papa. Open your eye, please.
That's the desperate plea of a mother whose dream was to walk out of a hospital hugging her newborn baby, but instead, she left empty-handed. A horrible ordeal the first-time mom, Shandale Ballantyne, describes as the worst day of her life as she now struggles to live with those memories after losing her baby at the Cornwall Regional Hospital on Good Friday. Ballantyne recalls the moments after learning that her baby, who she named Ramonte Rakai Ranger, had died.
When I think me here alright, me just I say no way. No.
Ballantyne says that the bruises on little Ranger's body were indicative that he fought a good fight but also suffered through the ordeal.
They say that they're doing the investigation and it will take about 40 days. But I still don't hear what really caused the baby to stop breathing because they say him born a breathing. It's traumatizing because you feel worthless, you feel like you fail.
Ramonte's father agrees that if the attention they received after Ballantyne's complication was rendered during her height of labor pain and desperate pleas, the baby could have survived.
She was in delivery for 4 hours with only one nurse. It was only at the last stages when she had 2 more assistants with her. That is when the baby come out of her belly. So if it was treated like an emergency from the initial stage, from the baby stuck, and they get all the help that is necessary and required, the baby would still be alive right now.
Ramonte, who would have been Ramon's 3rd child but first son, has already held a special place in his heart.
As a man, a whole generation that just take care for you. You know what I mean? We had prepared for life. We do everything. We have a whole room where we set for the baby, nurse, everything. You know what I mean? It really devastating to the mind, but we just have to stay strong.
Since the baby's passing, the Western Regional Health Authority has expressed deep regret over the outcome and has extended condolences to the family while promising urgent review into the matter. Though the parents were advised to take legal actions, they want to refocus their energy on the baby's funeral, getting answers, and healing.
I hope say this will save some other mothers from going through the same ordeal. I know say it not really bring back the baby, but I know say go save future babies, and if we ever get blessed to have one next baby again, we know say we not have to go through this again.
Natasha Williams, CVM News.
In the meantime, opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, has issued an immediate call for an independent inquiry into the death of baby Ramonte Rakai Ranger, while squarely placing the responsibility at the feet of Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton.
This tragedy is a direct consequence of 9 years of neglect and a culture of no accountability from the minister. His consistent pattern of denying involvement and deflecting blame must end.
Dr. Dawes, while expressing condolence to the child's mother, is calling Dr. Tufton's response to the matter a calculated exercise in evasion and a sign of poor leadership.
No mother should ever suffer what Miss Ballantyne has endured, and no Jamaican should suffer because a minister refuses to lead. I am unsparing in my assessment of Minister Tufton's public response. It is a calculated exercise in evasion, promising an investigation while offering no acceptance of ministerial responsibility. Dr. Tufton has once again retreated behind process rather than demonstrating leadership.
CVM News at 7 returns after this break.
New KFC Saucy Wings. Available in sweet red chili and citrus chipotle barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good. The time by KFC is
7:30.
Jason has watched every World Cup from here, but not today, because he made all his purchases with Visa and won a trip to the FIFA World Cup 2026. Whoever uses their Visa the most wins. Pay with Visa.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Welcome back. It's now time for the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to bond over with you in the Business Report today. 16 Government of Jamaica securities carrying a combined face value of 623 billion Jamaican dollars, Jamaica's largest asset class, have been platformed in a way that has been 2 decades in the making, with the official launch of the Jamaica Stock Exchange's secondary market for Government of Jamaica securities on March 31. In recognition of the unprecedented occasion, Livingston Morrison, Group CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, spoke to its significance.
Today marks the culmination of a journey that began more than 2 decades ago with a vision for Jamaica's financial system that could become world-class. But from that day to this one, something fundamental was missing. Jamaica, ladies and gentlemen, had built an excellent warehouse for government securities, but it had no marketplace.
Fayval Williams, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the keynote speaker, also welcomed the development, noting its long-term implications for the economy.
Implementation of the platform is expected to reduce transaction settlement time and counterparty risks and increase participation by both domestic and international investors, thereby broadening the investor base, strengthening price discovery, supporting the development of an efficient yield curve, and enhancing liquidity in the secondary market.
Minister Williams was effusive in recognition that the introduction of electronic trading for GOJ securities will facilitate the development of Jamaica's domestic yield curve, a critical benchmark in financial markets.
Jamaicans who are not intimately involved in the financial sector, the yield curve, in my estimation, is one of the most important concepts in the bond market. It is a graphical representation showing the relationship between interest rates of bonds with the same credit quality but different maturities or end date, much like a mortgage has an end date, a bond has an end date. Speaking to the ordinary Jamaicans who want to know what is this thing Minister Williams is so excited about, we are expecting that this development and trading of government bonds will reduce interest rates for the government over time. And we know that, interest rates, a 1% reduction in interest rate means several billions of dollars for the government in terms of reduced interest expense on the debt that we have.
As at March 31, 2026, the date of launch, already 7 trades valued at over 900 million had been made.
And to our domestic investors, I say you now have a marketplace. You have price transparency and the flexibility to manage your exposure to government securities on your terms. We welcome your participation. To our international investors, we want you to take note of what is happening in Jamaica. Jamaica is not simply a place to visit, it's a place to invest.
For Richard Biles, governor of an independent Bank of Jamaica, the move is a demonstration of how Jamaica's capital markets are maturing.
The bond traded platform is meant to enhance liquidity, transparency, and efficiency in the local bond market and represents a quantum leap in the modernization of the securities market in Jamaica. It is a fundamental truth that when markets are illiquid, prices are likely to be more volatile. Liquidity is therefore one of the critical factors of a fair and efficient market. Equally so, transparency, where the positions of participants are visible, traceable, and verifiable, is important. The publishing of pre- and post-trade information enhances this transparency and should result in competitive and informed bidding.
Ramon Small Ferguson, CEO of Burrito Investments Limited and president of the Jamaica Securities Dealer Association JSDA, said it will broaden investor participation and strengthen confidence in the country's fixed income market.
These kind of developments, to include why we're here today, reflect that our market is maturing. Right? It's not only maturing in size and sophistication, but diversification. Right? We are squarely in the 21st century, and this is very timely. It's a big win for Jamaica.
This new platform is designed to enhance transparency, liquidity, and efficiency to the delight of the JSE Group CEO, Livingstone Morrison.
Let us democratize the whole process of owning and holding Jamaican government securities. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crosskill.
Time now for regional and international news.
We begin with the news in the region. While other nations are rationing fuel and cutting work weeks to survive skyrocketing oil prices, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre says his country is standing firm as a result of the policies he put in place to shield the country from global shocks. We hear more from DBS TV.
We have a very good foundation. I think our pricing policy as far as fuel was as far as gas was concerned, it was a very good policy. In retrospect, I can't see that I knew that would happen, but in retrospect, I think it was a good policy. It gave us a buffer. There are some countries in the OECD as prices have already gone up. I told you that for the next cycle, our prices will not go up.
Further afield, Thursday marks 40 days since Israel's assassination of Iran's supreme leader. Thousands gathered in Tehran